is the most luxurious electric car in the world, and it is the second most expensive electric SUV in India. The first one being the Lotus Electric, which is priced at almost rupees 3 crores. This one is a bargain at rupees 2.27 crores on road Mumbai, and all I have to do is keep the key with me, maybe in my pocket, approach the car, and as soon as I do that, the car realizes that I'm near it. It will pop open the door handles and it will automatically open the door as well. Isn't that super duper cool? I'm going to step inside and I'm just going to press the brakes. As soon as I do that, the door actually closes. Everything is electrically done here, which is just awesome. And then there's the welcome sound. Obviously, let me turn on the car, and there it doesn't roar to life because obviously it is an electric. Okay, I just push the door like this and it will open because everything is electric, obviously. However, that push wasn't that great, so it didn't really open, and that was a poor part for me. Let's shut the air conditioning off completely. Let's turn on the lights and let's talk a bit about this awesome Mercedes-Benz SUV, which is definitely crazy in terms of comfort. All I need to do is tap it there and it shuts. In terms of the design, I do not like the design of the EQS SUV at all. However, the EQS Maybach, the SUV Maybach or whatever you want to call it, this looks awesome because it has this dual tone color scheme, which is phenomenal. It has this vertical slats here. However, this is actually using a material called indium, which is transparent, because of which radar panel can be inside and it can still work. That's the reason you don't get a massive Mercedes logo here, because the radar is placed behind it. Gloss black finishing here. You get a camera. Obviously, the Mercedes logo is placed on the top. I don't know how they managed to circumvent pedestrian norms, because this can really hurt in your rear. The Maybach badging, and it gets this connected light thing. Actually has this welcome feature when you, okay, my aircraft or rather helicopter is right on the top. I can't say, oh, there it is, chittu mintu hai. Anyways, so the design is obviously the same. The dimensions are also the same when compared to the EQS SUV, but they've splashed it with a lot of premium materials. So the lights have this welcome feature, which looks awesome. Also a goodbye feature. The way the whole connected light works is absolutely awesome. This whole grille is amazing. A lot of chrome has been added almost everywhere. That is a towing hook. You get 6 parking sensors at the front. And what is this? A lot of Maybach logos right here, which is a bit over the top. The lights obviously have the digital light function, the digital light feature. The digital light is actually having 1 million micro mirrors on the inside. It's just amazing. It has this blue tinge. The way the lights turn on and off is also awesome. If a dynamic swipe indicator was given here, that would be really cool. Usually, I come to the car and open the hood of the vehicle. The hood does not open in Mercedes' EQ models because only the service center guys can open it, which is kind of rude because I want to see what's under the hood. But there's nothing of my use because there's no frunk here, which is a bit disappointing because who doesn't want more storage space? You see the way the lines are there on the bonnet. Obviously, you've got multiple cameras there for the lane keep assist. In fact, you've also got a camera here, which is for the traffic light, so it's able to sense you on a traffic light and give you a view on the instrument cluster as well. In terms of dimensions, this car is more than 5.1 meters in terms of length. The wheelbase is more than 3.2 meters, and the ground clearance is actually low, but you can raise the ride height by 25 mm as well. Multiple alloy wheel design options. This is actually the classic Maybach 5-hole design, which looks awesome. It's like a plate. I call it the thali wheels. Maybach branding here, multiple places. In fact, the tire size is 275, 45, 21. I love the design of the alloy wheels. It looks awesome. You get this side molding, which is finished in gloss black, which runs all across. In fact, you get a chrome line there as well. This side footstep actually illuminates at night, which looks quite cool, and you have the Maybach logo here. In fact, when you unlock the car now, it will project the Maybach logo somewhere here, along with multiple smaller Maybach logos right behind. Just too much of Maybach logos on this car. In fact, it says EQS here. Again, you have this sort of a chrome line. This chrome plate here, lot of chrome in this car. In fact, if I have to summarize this car, it's all about chrome, it's all about the logos as well. There's a camera here, obviously, and there is the Maybach logo in another place. How many places you want the Maybach logo? Mercedes-Benz is like, yes. And this is where the charging happens of the vehicle. So let's just shut this. The rear tire size is the same as the front tire, obviously. So it doesn't have a staggered tire setup at all. At the rear, again, it will remind you of the regular Mercedes EQS. However, a lot more chrome has been added here. In fact, there is a chrome strip right here as well. You get a rear wiper and washer. In fact, it even has the Mercedes logo on the rear wiper, which is the norm with almost all Mercedes cars. You get this chrome finish on the rear spoiler with a high mounted stop lamp as well. The lights have this helix treatment. But you know what? When you unlock the car, it obviously does a dance. And when you lock the car, again, it does this goodbye animation. So the animations are phenomenal. EQS 680, it states right here. No dynamic swipe indicators. Says Mercedes-Benz on the inside. In fact, the camera pops out from here. Let's look at the underbody. Obviously no exhaust here because this is electric. You get 6 parking sensors, Maybach branding right there, and this is the rear fog. How do you open the boot? All you have to do is press this button, and the boot is absolutely useless because there's a lot of stuff lying inside, and useful stuff, not just rubbish, because this is actually, I think, the headphones. Yeah, the headphones are lying in the rear, and this is the manual of the car. There are multiple booklets for a lot of information about how to do a lot of stuff, because obviously this car is loaded with so many features now, it can completely confuse you. This is like 600 pages, which is crazy. And these are the headphones I was talking about. No big deal here because the regular EQS SUV also gets similar headphones, the warning triangle. In fact, there's some storage space below here as well, which is impossible to lift because of the amount of stuff which is here. This is actually the wall box. This is, I think, another charging cable, 2 charging cables here. So the boot is filled with a lot of stuff. Spare wheel is an alloy. Tire size 195/70/20s. So yeah, smaller sized obviously. And you get 2 speakers right here. And this is super well insulated, which means that no sound is actually going to come from the boot. The Maybach logo is placed here as well. Power tailgate. I press a button and there it shuts. So yeah, the 440-liter boot isn't as big as you would expect. But the regular EQS SUV is a 3-row car. This one is a 2-row because the focus is on the rear seat, obviously. So let's quickly step inside. All I have to do is swipe the door handles like this, and there it opens. Dual tone paint scheme, lighter paint here, and a darker shade on the top. In fact, the roof can take up to 100 kgs if you have the roof transport system, obviously. And the doors open electrically, which is such a good thing. Let's roll the sun blind up because this is a feature which is not available in the regular EQS SUV, which is shocking for the price. And the door pockets are massive. You get a lot of wood, lot of controls. Can you see these buttons? In fact, if I press this button now, I'm just going to press this button once, and you will notice that the seat is going all the way ahead. This seat will recline. So in the regular EQS SUV, this seat reclines by 30 degrees. Here it reclines by 43.5 degrees. So you definitely get your money's worth because that is the level of comfort and luxury Mercedes is offering with the Maybach version. Now the headrest actually folds, the front headrest. The seat will go all the way ahead, which means there's going to be a blind spot, but there's so many cameras and ADAS systems in this car, you don't have to worry at all. And then this footrest is actually going to come out. So they also move the angle of the screen so that the person who's sitting here is able to see what is exactly happening on that particular screen. Now come on, that is coming out, and that is the footrest. It's so cool. This seat is reclined all the way, so 43.5 degree recline, which is absolutely crazy. And all of this is happening in sync beautifully well, which means that you don't even realize when what is happening, and everything is so silent. So they've really worked on making sure that nothing can be heard inside the cabin. That is the level of silence which is there. In fact, I can move this also ahead. Yeah, this can be moved too, which means this car is absolutely comfortable. But I have a problem. When compared to the S-Class Maybach, it's not having as much space at the rear because someone as tall as me, I cannot flat foot here. So I'm going to step in from right there. By the way, there's this light also, which I don't know what it exactly does because I can't really see it. It's not that bright. Let's get inside and let me sit in utmost comfort and luxury. Okay, that is just amazing. Headroom is also good enough, and you have a nice handle to hold on to, which goes back smoothly. There's a hook inside. There's a light placement here, height adjustable seat belts, and if you notice, there is good amount of space, good amount of under thigh support as well. The only thing is this gets dirty now, so you have to always remove your shoes when you step inside the car. There's some storage space here, again wood treatment, nice paneling, Maybach logo, and it says airbag too. Let's just shut the door, and there it shuts. It's so smooth that it's electrically assisted, and then the Maybach specific screen obviously comes here. 11.6 inch, 11.6 inch, a 7-inch tablet. This car has so many screens, it's amazing. There's a hook here, it says airbag right there, and you get another roof at the rear, panoramic sunroof, one here, one there, but there's this panel in between because this is obviously for the interior assistant, which means that if you put your hand like this, it will turn on the light at night. So it's able to realize all this and more, so you can turn on all these lights from that particular screen too. There is this first class cabin or the compartment wherein the center console runs all the way from the front to the back, which separates the passengers at the rear. Amazing in terms of quality and luxury. It's phenomenal. It's so freaking comfortable. And I didn't show you one interesting feature of this car. As soon as I close the door, okay, the seat belt will actually push itself ahead. It's known as the seat belt feeder mechanism. There is this speaker treatment, which is a work of art. It has a Maybach logo on the inside. There's illumination here. Ambient lighting is just unbelievably awesome. It says airbag here as well because this car has got 11 airbags, and there's a microphone right here because obviously when you make business calls, you don't have to use your phone. Now this screen obviously has a lot of information, but the most important one is massage. There are 10 pre-fed massage options, which is obviously awesome, including a calf massage too. And this screen is slick to operate because you can do a lot of stuff, including changing ambient lighting and all the settings. Same you can do on that screen, same you can do on this screen as well. The problem with this screen is this is a Samsung tablet, a 7-inch Samsung tablet. Samsung doesn't make the best devices, so I'm not very happy with that. They could have easily given it an iPad. You have all the settings here as well. Now let's press this button. As soon as I do that, this thing will go back inside, and I have got some storage space here, ambient lighting inside, and these cup holders actually heated or cooled depending on the button you press. It says Maybach here, but then I'm sitting in a Mercedes-Maybach. What about me working on a laptop? Do I need to do that? Yes, I need to, which means I just press this and it reveals 2 tables. So I can open the table here, and I have to actually pull it from here, and then I can put my laptop and work. Okay, stop making Jadoo sounds because I'm not sending signals to Jadoo from here, but yes, you can work from there, which is quite cool. There's a wireless charging pad here, 2 HDMI ports and 4 USB-C ports and a 12-volt charging socket. What is this car? Is this a power grid of sorts? There's so many charging options in this car, which is quite unbelievable. And there's the Maybach logo here as well. But what if you want to cool your drinks? You have the option of getting a refrigerator as well. That is insane. Soft pillows here, which are like really very softy. In fact, this is the chauffeur package wherein you can push the seat all the way ahead and sit in utmost comfort. Let me show you the dashboard of the car, which is absolutely wide and crazy as well. Again, it's very similar to, you guessed it right, the EQS SUV. So what is different there? The difference here is that this car is having comfort and luxury pushed all the way to the moon and back, because the dimensions remain the same. However, because the last row has been removed, this seat has been moved a bit behind, and then you've got all the luxury and comfort in the world. This is folding on its own. It realizes ho gaya, inka kaam nikal rahe hain. So that is also folding. Nice pillow here. In fact, you can notice that there is this red surround around the seat belt buckle, so that you can exactly see where the seat belt buckle is at night. Why can't the car automatically belt you up as well? Considering the kind of technology and luxury it has, that can be very much possible too. So let's shut the door, which is a simple touch here. The door handles have Mercedes-Benz written here. They also illuminate at night. The kind of illumination this car has is absolutely unbelievable. I never thought I would really like the EQS SUV so much, because I don't like the design of the EQS SUV. However, the Maybach version is absolutely mind-blowing. What a car! But the bonnet doesn't open, so you have to open this to put in washer fluid. Yeah, washer fluid goes in right here, since the bonnet doesn't open. I don't know why there's this sort of a gap here. This is not aligned properly. This should have sat flush inside. No, that's not the case somehow, which is kind of disappointing. Now coming to the front of the car, not that you really care, because you're going to be sitting in the rear seat if you get the Mercedes-Maybach EQS SUV. And the front is also amazing. Before that, let me show you. They've actually insulated the wheel wells properly. Properly they've insulated it, so that sound does not keep inside the cabin. So it has laminated glass. All about sound insulation here, making sure that the passengers don't hear a sound at all. Oh my god, I forgot to put that seat back into place. Well, first things first, let me put this seat into place. I press a button here. Okay, and there it is going back all the way. The steering will start moving too. I mean, memory function both for the seats as well as the steering wheel. There the steering wheel is going inside, the seat is rising, and all that is happening, which is quite cool. In fact, it says airbag here as well. And this Maybach thing, it illuminates at night, which is quite cool. In fact, talking about Maybach logos, it even projects the Maybach logo here. What a weird place to project it. But yes, it actually projects the Maybach logo right there as well. So I'm just going to put the seat back into place. I press a button here, and now it should come back. No, it's not doing it. So yeah, there it is folding and it's coming back. In fact, I can get into the settings function here and get into the various comfort modes, and then I can operate the comfort doors from here as well. I'll show you how the comfort doors are operated. In fact, I can decide if I want the seat to fold from right here. So this screen lets me do a lot of things. So there's seat positioning, and I can decide, okay, there it is folding on its own. So I can decide that I want the seat to be folded, and it will do that for me effortlessly. In fact, let's sit in this seat as well. Okay, now let me get out from here and let's shut this door. As soon as I do that, the seatbelt feeder is not working here, but it definitely works, and when it works phenomenally well. So that's something I'm a bit disappointed that it's not working so flawlessly right now. You get AC vents on the side. It has this sort of rose gold finish. In fact, you have the rose gold finish there as well. Here too in the center AC vents. But in terms of luxury and comfort, this car will absolutely blow your mind. And don't think you're able to push this seat all the way ahead, because the driver cannot fold himself. Now you can fold that seat, you cannot fold the driver's seat obviously. Let's just tap it and it will shut automatically. Band ho ja bhai. There it is. So phenomenal. Lot of information here. In fact, it has got stainless steel pedals along with Maybach branding there. Controls for the headlights. This is the electric parking brake, and the dashboard looks awesome because it is having massive amount of screens. There are 3 screens here. This is a 12.3 inch screen. This is another 12.3 inch screen. This is a 17.7 inch screen. Mercedes calls it the 56 inch hyper screen because the panel is the same across. However, there are 3 different screens, so not really a hyper screen. Do I need to shut the door by pulling it? Absolutely not. I just press the brake and there it shuts. Now let's turn on the car and there it sort of roars to life. It makes this nice sound as well, welcome sound that is. And below here you have got storage space with 2 USB-C charging sockets as well. This is beautifully lined. In fact, the glove box has to be opened by pressing a button here. The glove box is also decent sized here. Yeah, it's actually big enough. Beautifully lined too, but doesn't seem to have the cooling function. Can you notice that that is actually for the car perfume, which works from the AC vents, but the car perfume is not there in the car right now. It's a soft close function here. So this screen obviously has all the information which you see on this screen as well. And this has a 0 layer concept, which is it's showing the navigation and the maps, which are absolutely beautiful. Attention to detail here is mind blowing. Let me quickly get into some of the function of this car. Okay, there's a fingerprint sensor here. This is the engine start button. This is for the parking camera. This is for the drive mode selector. This is for the volume, and this is to get into the various information about the vehicle's charging. So it has 68% battery at the moment. I missed it by 1. And I can open the charging flap from here. I can see a lot of information related to the range from right here. Now, this is the AC menu. It tells me the air quality. It's telling me please insert the perfume vial, because obviously the air freshener is not going to work since that is missing right now. PM 2.5 air filter is there here. The second row of seats are known as the executive seats, can be controlled from here. The first row of seats can be controlled from here in terms of the air conditioning. And you can obviously pre-entry climate control function can be used. You can obviously decide if you want the air conditioning to turn on before you enter the car, so you can set a time for that as well. Now this is beautiful because in comfort mode here I can get to the 10 massage options. Amazing massage. I can adjust the seat in a multitude of ways, and ambient lighting here is mind-blowing to say the least. So there are multiple colors. This happens to be approximately 13 colors here, which are the multicolor options, and for monochrome there are 64 color options, and you can decide the brightness, you can decide the effects as well. And the ambient lighting works beautifully well because obviously it works here. In fact, as soon as I increase the temperature on this zone, see how it goes in red, and if I decrease it, see how it actually goes in blue all across, which is absolutely fantastic. So 4-zone climate control air conditioning system in this car. Let me come into the menu again. First, let's come to the comfort doors, and I'm going to be opening all the doors of this car by pressing a button. There it opens. Yeah, it is so smooth. It's so awesome. I mean, the comfort doors are a real USP of this car. Let's open the rear door as well, and then when I decide to close all, I have to keep this button pressed. It activates it and it closes both the doors, and it can close all the 4 doors all at once. That's how fantastic this whole system is. The comfort doors is something which is very unique to this car, and I really like it. Let's get into this function because there's an off-road menu here, which obviously gives you off-road data, and you can increase the ride height from here. Otherwise, you can do it from another menu. And this is the new off-road screen, which also comes into the main instrument cluster. And then there's the info mode, which tells you the energy flow and the vehicle acceleration and brake. There you see it. What I'm going to do is I'm actually going to turn this on when we are driving this car, because when I'm going to give the beans, I want to see all that and more. So this screen is absolutely phenomenal. Amazing screen. What a screen. And then let's get into the settings function. A lot of settings here for the ADAS features and all those things. But let's get into the sound experience, because there are 2 sounds. Yes, these fake sounds are there, so it tries to act like an ICE car, although it is not. So all the settings are there, lot of settings which can obviously take a lot of time to configure as per your liking. And then there's phone, Apple CarPlay, Android Auto are obviously wireless. Let me quickly come into the 360-degree parking camera, because it is absolutely fantastic. The quality of the camera, everything is just amazing here. The exact same color and spec of the car is seen in this screen. That's the kind of attention to detail. You have got multiple views here: front camera, rear camera, side camera, all those. And then obviously you can save a GPS position where you want the camera to get activated automatically, and then automatic camera also. Then front and rear parking sensors are obviously there here, which is amazing. Which actually brings me to another feature of this car known as parking assistance, which is the usual bit, but this thing has something known as memory parking assistance. For 100 meters you can record a path which the car will replicate, so you can probably do it from the entry to your gate to your parking, so that this car will realize where to turn, and how to park as well, which is just amazing, mind-blowing to say the least. Obviously Maybach specific menu, every time you turn on and off the car, it has this Maybach screen as well. This is another Maybach specific menu here, and it has got a lot of information. Firstly, there are multiple screens. There's understated sport, there's Maybach, there is obviously the navigation assistance, off-road, and then there is service. But particular to this car is obviously the Maybach screen, which doesn't show you the full meter, because as you accelerate and brake, it will continuously keep changing. This is the power meter. Now this is the speedometer. That is the power meter. There's a lot of reflection, so we just want to skip that. The steering wheel also has the Maybach logo here. 3-spoke steering wheel with the gloss treatment. These are the controls for the audio system. These are the controls for the cruise control, and obviously to operate this particular screen. And you can operate and change a lot of factors here. There is the Maybach logo because it's mandatory. Now you need to have a Maybach logo to realize that you are in a Mercedes Maybach at the end of the day. It also has a heads-up display, which is fantastic because there are multiple views for the heads-up display as well, including a one which looks super duper cool because it is known as augmented reality, which actually moves ahead and behind depending on your acceleration. So multiple modes for the heads-up display as well. It says Mercedes here. In fact, here you get a beautiful mirror along with a light, beautifully lined here. Same is the case here as well, and multiple controls on the top. You need to just swipe it like this to open the sunroof of the vehicle, which is actually quite big here because it has to be. Now it has to bring in a lot of airiness inside, but that's the maximum it opens. It doesn't open any further. Yeah, that's it. It's limited to opening this much only because there's a rear sunroof as well. It's just technically a moonroof because that one does not open at all. Light controls here on the top. In fact, this thing is so advanced now because there are sensors here. If I put my hand here, it will automatically turn on the light on the left side. And if I look on the left side and adjust the mirror controls from here, it will realize that I'm trying to adjust that mirror and it will automatically activate the adjustment of that mirror. That's how cool it is. Now this car has got a 15-speaker Burmester 4D sound system, which has got exciters in the backrest, which sounds awesome. Yeah, it has got Dolby Atmos as well, but 15-speaker system, 8 exciters, I think 2 in each seat. It's there in the rear seats as well. Obviously rear seat occupants need to be pampered in this car because this is all about the rear seat experience, and that's the reason it has got something known as a Maybach mode, which I'll talk about later. This is actually for what? These are the paddle shifters, which is obviously not for the gas because it's an electric. It is actually for the energy recuperation, so you can decide how much you want regenerative braking in this car. Wiper controls here, and this is obviously for the gas selector as well. The steering feels nice to hold the horn. Horn is decent. You get this wood treatment here. When you open it, you get 2 cup holders. You just press it and you can turn them around as well. 2 USB-C charging sockets. There's a wireless charging pad inside, and there's wood treatment here. So the quality of the cabin is absolutely phenomenal. Auto dimming mirror here, obviously. And this is actually an OLED screen, which is unbelievable in terms of quality. And this is an electric car, and hence it has got some amount of storage space here as well. Can you see that purple colored wire for the electric seat adjustment? Yeah, there's actually a strap here as well, along with 2 USB-C charging sockets. How many charging sockets should be there in a car? Mercedes-Benz is like, yes, we will give you all that and more, but enough of me yapping. Let's start driving right away. Alright, it is time to start driving, which means shutting the door with the brake pedal, obviously. And you know what, you have got heating and ventilation functions here, and you can actually move this seat from here. So this seat is the worst seat to be in because everyone else can obviously adjust it. Straight away, let me turn on the vehicle, and the seat actually moves ahead. That was the audio test, which was not planned, but it happened because as soon as I turned on the car, the Bluetooth system turned on automatically. Let's turn off the air conditioning. Let's straight away come into the sport drive mode, and I'm actually going to come into the ESP system because I'm going to turn off the ESP of this car. Here we are, ESP off, and we are going to come into the info mode here. There we are, left foot on the brake, right foot on the accelerator. Firstly, let me come into the drive mode and hazard lights off. But before that, let me actually open the glove box of this car because we are going to be doing a scientific test today. This thing is activated right now. Why is it moving? The car is stationary. On what basis is it showing me 14, 20, 12 kilometers per hour? That's kind of weird. Okay, now it's fine. Notice that area in particular. Okay, now it's time to launch. Okay, now hold is activated because I pressed the brake pedal too fast. No launch control, and off we go. Okay, the hindrance was this particular panel came in between, but otherwise just look at the way things actually fly when you accelerate hard in this car. So I just kept it again, left foot on the brake, right foot on the accelerator, hazard lights, and off we go. You saw the paper fly away. That is the kind of acceleration. Oh my goodness, this car has a lot of speedo error or what, because this thing did not reach 100 kilometers per hour. That is weird for sure. Anyways, this car is having a 122 kilowatt hour battery pack. I think net is 118 kilowatt hour. which is a big battery. Obviously not Hummer EV big battery, but still it is quite a big battery. And in terms of performance, you will never ever complain, because obviously this car is electric, so it has got electrifying performance. It gives you that instant torque rush, so 955 Newton meters of torque, which is a lot of torque. Power output 658 horsepower. Again, it's very powerful in terms of the output it offers. So 658 horsepower is a lot of power. Torque is also quite a lot here. And in terms of acceleration, it is very brisk. Okay, there it is telling me forward collision warning, which also blinks in the heads-up display, which is quite cool actually. The steering is light, so everything has been set up primarily for comfort here. So the ride is more comfort oriented. The steering is also light, it's not heavy, and that's something usually you would expect it to be because of the weight of this car, which is 3075 kgs. Yeah, 3075 kgs. This car is 275 kgs heavier than the regular EQS SUV. That's a lot of weight which has been added from 2800 kgs to 3075 kgs. I can't even believe the numbers. This is not heavy, this is ultra heavy. This is like the Khali of cars. That is how heavy this car is. But then I'm not complaining much about it, because obviously they have added so many electronics and electric bits in this car that the weight has to definitely increase. Want to make a quick overtake? Not a problem at all. There, done and dusted. It makes this nice whine sound as well when you accelerate hard, because obviously it has to do that. 106 seconds it took to go from 0 to 100 kilometers per hour because it did not time it properly. Anyways, around the corners there is roll. There's quite a lot of roll here, which is expected considering the weight of this car and the suspension being on the softer side. But the ride quality is absolutely amazing. Feels better somehow in sport mode, because in comfort mode, which is actually the Maybach mode, it becomes too soft, so there is some side to side movement there. But I cannot complain much about it, because this car does waft along very smoothly and very nicely. And every time you get into the throttle, the way it pushes you back into the seat can make the rear seat passengers very uncomfortable. That's the reason it has got an eco mode, which is obviously to boost the range of this car. In eco mode, oh god, there the forward collision warning. In eco mode, what it does, it restricts the accelerator pedal beyond 60% to ensure that you don't put heavy throttle inputs, thereby reducing the torque output and thereby boosting the range of this vehicle, which actually brings me to the claim range of this car, which is 611 kilometers WLTP. Trust me, this car will easily go, and I kid you not, it will easily go 600 kilometers on a full charge if you drive it sanely. And how much time does it take to charge? Just 31 minutes if you're able to get a 200 kilowatt DC fast charger, which is the maximum speed at which it can charge, because it is running a 400 volt architecture. No 800. I don't know what Mercedes-Benz is waiting for, but come on, that needs to be offered as well. Yeah, it's somehow kind of baffling to me why Mercedes is not offered that yet. Why am I getting into this particular mode? Because I realized one thing: in comfort mode, there's this ambient lighting and there is this energy shine. So when I accelerate, the ambient lighting moves accordingly, and then again forward collision warning. In fact, it blinks lights here for the parking sensors as well. So if you're going to hit something, it will blink here and it will become more aggressive as and when you come closer to it. So that's also pretty cool here. Yeah, the kind of systems and electronics in this car, the technology is mind-blowing to say the least. Let's actually get into the navigation menu here, which is also cool. Oh my god, the car is always going to ring over, so ADAS systems definitely need to be turned off here. And I don't know why we have come to the map view again. I had changed that. How did that change again? So we're going to come to the energy flow of the vehicle. Now, this car will take a lot more time to charge with the standard 22 kilowatt AC charger which comes with this vehicle. So I'm not even going to mention numbers because it could be almost 7-8 hours considering how big the battery is. But this car does accelerate very fast, and there's an instant torque touch, but a typical electric car behavior wherein there's instant torque and then it dies out. In fact, top speed has been restricted to 210 kilometers per hour, which is the same as the EQS sedan as well as the EQS SUV. So the Maybach version is not any faster. I think they have done it to preserve the range of the vehicle, and it goes from 0 to 100 kilometers per hour in 4.4 seconds. That's the claim number. But that's only 0.3 seconds faster than the EQS SUV. So why is the difference so less? Purely because that car also has a lot of power. Now the EQS SUV 580 is also having a lot of punch on offer, and that's the reason why the difference isn't that much. Now you get a good view of what's around, and the Maybach ride mode, which I will enable right away, that is the comfort mode. That is the default mode of this car. So it has this sort of a diamond towards it, wherein the adaptive dampers and the air suspension focuses more on rear seat occupant comfort, thereby ensuring that the ride at the rear is just much better. So the focus is not for the front seat passengers, because I don't think many people are going to end up driving this car. It's electric at the end of the day, which has its benefit of being absolutely silent. In fact, they've worked a lot on making it even more silent by adding foam around the wheel arches to ensure there's not much sound, laminated glass, ton of effort has gone. In fact, they have also a vibration motor near the suspension to ensure that the suspension noise can be countered there, and it is obviously running an air suspension. In fact, the ride height can be raised by 25 mm if you want to go off-road, which won't make sense because this car is not about off-roading, because still the ground clearance isn't that impressive. In fact, the most interesting part about this car is the fact that it is able to decouple the front axle. It is all-wheel drive. It has dual motor setup, front motor, rear motor. Because when you're driving it sedately, the front axle should not activate the front motor, thereby ensuring that even more smoother and refined ride quality of this car. Yeah, that is bouncy. It's all over the place, but there is no bounce mode in this car. Acceleration is so brisk, the car lifts up and then it goes in full blast. That is how quick this is. So we are going to be doing the 0 to 100 km/h test. Before that, let me do the brake test. Yeah, a lot of ABS pulsating. Let's put the papers back into place. Let's turn on the hazard lights. They, I think, turned on their own. Let's change the cluster mode to the sporty one, and left foot on the brake, right foot on the accelerator. Hazard lights off, full blast, and off we go. Zero to 100 in 4 seconds, which is impressive, but I think there was a slope or something of that sort. But yeah, this car can reach, as per Mercedes, claim time. Plus the Germans, they always do this. They undercoat the performance numbers. The car is actually much faster than what they claim. I don't like this cluster mode, but can you hear the sound? That's weird. I love the fact that lane keep assist looks phenomenal in the heads-up display, because when you're leaving a lane now, it marks this red line around to tell you, okay, you are leaving the lane right now. Get back into line. That's also quite neatly done here. So we are straight away going to come into the navigation menu, which also looks super duper cool. Everything in this car is just unbelievable. In fact, this actually reminds me to get into the vehicle settings, because we definitely have to change the sound experience. So we will come into the Vivid Flux. Yeah, that's a bit different, but then fake sounds, that really doesn't please me much. I'm just going to put the understated cluster here, which actually has a clock. Person who has a Maybach never needs to see the time, because time is fighting against them. They are not fighting against time. Okay, that's a very bad joke. Doesn't make sense. But people who are rich enough really don't care about time, because they have multiple businesses and they obviously have people working for them. So they really don't have to worry about seeing a clock here. So I don't like this cluster, the understated one. And then there's this assistance one, which obviously will work with, oh my God, why is the car drifting there? That's kind of weird. So it has got a ton of ADAS features, and there it activates and it shows me so many things so clearly here, which is absolutely phenomenal. The off-road one, which is kind of useless, because let's be honest, who's going to be going off-roading in this car? I don't think I am going off-roading in this car, because I think the ground clearance isn't that great. But there is the off-road mode in the cluster. Sometimes it can take its own sweet time to activate, so that's not very fast and reassuring. Now this car has a pedestrian alert system which works till 20 km/h, wherein it makes some fake sounds on the outside to ensure that the pedestrians are aware that this car is coming, and that sound will obviously be the same fakeish, weirdish electric car sound. But then I'm not complaining much. I left the steering wheel. This car is not putting me back into a lane, but it tells me that I need to hold the steering wheel, so it's very alert here. So many sensors, is absolutely crazy, which actually makes me shift from the comfort drive mode. So there are actually 5 drive modes. There's an off-road drive mode, so you have to actually park the car and then only you can activate this. So oh my God, was that a stone? From where did that fly? That's a big problem in India. Stones keep flying everywhere, so you cannot drive a convertible car. No, you don't really have to park. You can just come onto the off-road mode. You have to activate the drive program. There's an efficiency mode, which is obviously there to boost the range, comfort, sport, and individual. What all can you change in the individual drive modes? You can actually change quite a lot. You can change the drive, the suspension, the steering, the ESP system, and there are multiple options there: comfort, sport, and I think there must be an eco one as well. So we are just going to come into the sport mode, because that is the best mode to drive, in spite of the fact that the Maybach mode has the better ride, but only for rear seat passengers. Since I'm sitting in the front seat, I really don't care about rear seat passengers at the moment. But yeah, the focus is completely on rear seat passengers, and as an electric car for rear seat passengers, this one works brilliantly well, because an electric car doesn't really have a soul. There's no sound, there's no feel, there's no top end grunt, none of that. So from a driver's perspective, this is not that impressive, but it's still easy to drive. Steering is responsive enough because it weighs up at high speeds. It doesn't feel lackluster at all. So the usual bits which you had come to expect from Mercedes cars, but at the end of the day, I honestly feel that this is I mean, a crazy bargain of sorts. How is this a bargain? This car costs rupees 2.37 crores. How can something that expensive be a bargain? Because when compared to the GLS Maybach, this car costs rupees 1.6 crores less, which means you can get this car and regular GLS 450 for the price of a GLS Maybach, because the GLS Maybach is priced at rupees 3.97 crores on road Mumbai, which is a lot. In fact, if you opt for the non-Maybach version of this car, then that's 88 lakhs less, because the regular version of the EQS SUV, which is the 580, is priced at rupees 1.49 crores on road Mumbai. For this particular car, you're going to pay 9 lakh rupees for insurance and just 51,000 for registration, because obviously it's an electric now, so it gets that leeway there. And Mercedes is offering a 10 years warranty on the battery, that also 2.5 lakh kilometers. That's a lot of warranty for this car, because it's a Maybach at the end of the day, and the battery is obviously accounting for a majority of the cost of this car. But I think the electric motors inside, this, not the car, the ones which drive the car, but the ones which drive the doors, which drive other factors of this car, they obviously make a huge difference in terms of the pricing, and that's the reason you're paying 88 lakhs more for the Maybach version when compared to the regular EQS SUV, which I personally don't like, but I love the Maybach because it is an absolute unbelievable machine in terms of luxury, comfort, refinement and desirability as well. Now this car can actually give you 300 kilometers of range in just 20 minutes of time, so that is quite a lot of fast charging. And in terms of the size, it is huge, no denying that fact. Like more than 5.1 meters is no joke at all. But still, this car is easy to drive in spite of the weight, because of the air suspension, because of the way the steering has been calibrated. But the major reason for this car being so easy to drive in terms of maneuverability is obviously that this car has rear axle steering, which can turn by up to 10 degrees. So at lower speeds it turns by up to 10 degrees, at higher speeds it turns in a lesser speed. So at lower speeds it turns in the opposite direction to virtually reduce the wheelbase, thereby making it more maneuverable, and at higher speeds it changes in the same direction as the front wheels, thereby virtually increasing the wheelbase and thereby making it more stable. Longer wheelbase means more stability. Okay, I have actually turned off the regeneration completely, so now the car drives like a natural car. However, I'm going to turn it on to strong. So there are three modes: there's off, there's normal and there's strong. And look at the way the car is reducing the speed. Even though we are on a downslope, it is decelerating very fast. Now, will this car decelerate completely and come to a halt? That's something I want to find out. So I've left the throttle completely. I'm not applying the brakes at all. I'm just going to turn on the hazard lights, because we are going to be coming to a halt in the last lane, and slowly the car is slowing down and is obviously showing me these lights. These lights are so aggressive, amazing active ambient lighting, and the car has come to a speed of 8 kilometers per hour, and it tells me top up washer fluid. I will not top up washer fluid. What will you do? Nahi karna mere ko, nahi use karne ka. Since you're insisting so much on the washer fluid, why not use the wipers here right away? That's a lot of spray on offer. And now I realize this car doesn't really have one pedal driving, because it's not going to come to a halt. It's going to keep cruising at 6 kilometers per hour, on and on and on and on, which actually makes me realize that why has Mercedes not decided to give us electric doors in the EQS sedan, because that would be super cool as well. And off we go. 100% power, baby. 100% power. Yeah, this deceleration now can actually make you feel a bit nauseous as soon as it decelerates at times.
Sorry.
I didn't talk to you, lady.
I'm sorry, but I can't help you with it right now.
I'll tell you something, when you're in deep nobody can help you, not even you, Mercedes. Jokes aside, let's focus on how much sound comes from the car, because it's very silent, and because there is no sound from the motor, even though there are some fake sounds, this car actually feels like you're gliding in a vacuum. And there's some tire noise which comes, because obviously I have not subscribed to anything, boss. I discontinued Netflix, Amazon Prime, everything I've unsubscribed to. And the rear wheel steering actually reduces the turning radius by 2 meters. That's crazy, and that's the reason why this car is so maneuverable. The heads-up display is so advanced now that when you're actually parking and maneuvering, it shows you in the heads-up display as well if there's something in your line of sight. Isn't that unbelievably awesome? So while this car is super impressive, there's one feature which is missing, because of which I'll pay rupees 1.6 crores more for the GLS Maybach, because this car doesn't have the bounce mode. It doesn't bounce like the GLS Maybach can. I'm just kidding. It's not worth paying 1.6 crores for that show-off feature, because that, okay, it has warnings all the time, because that, what kind of a sound this is? So space age, huh? Yeah, so that feature is only to get the car out of sand or tricky situations off-road, but people are obviously misusing it to just bounce for no random reason at all. Let's launch it again and off we go! That's an accurate timing. Bye-bye.